Developer offers $2 million to calm new residents irate over the rate hike increases. Here's why you should never park your car or golf cart in a striped area. Officials in the villages to revisit the contentious issue of striping the golf cart paths once again. A villager's son is back in jail in 2023 drug overdose death. A son living in parents' home to escape prosecution after bizarre incident. Police report significant rise in speeding and aggressive driving. Who belongs on a multimodal path in the villages? A pickleball player from the villages is heading to the National Senior Olympics. Wildwood official's daughter arrested in theft of wallet at 7-Eleven. Another child sex offender was arrested and now has a temporary address in the villages. Letters to the editor. There's no holes in ones in golf this week, but I'm going to give you a rant. This and more coming up. This week's news is brought to you by my YouTube and Patreon members. Okay, we got some updates. Let's get to them right away. A resident of the villages is poised to escape prosecution on criminal charges after a bizarre incident at his parents' home. Timothy John Henry, 51, who lives at 1607 Ariel Place in the village of Sunset Point, this past month entered into a pretrial intervention contract in Sumter County Court. If he meets the terms of the contract, he will not be prosecuted on 2 felony drug charges and a misdemeanor charge of possession of drug equipment. The contract calls for him to seek a drug, alcohol evaluation and follow any recommended treatment. He must submit to random screenings. That one's always tough. In addition, he must complete 50 hours of community service. However, he can buy out at half of those hours at a rate of $10 per hour. I don't agree with that at all. Why buy out? I didn't know our laws was for sale. Sumter County Sheriff's deputies responded December 10th to Henry's home. Henry claimed he had knocked out an intruder, but wasn't making sense, the report said. He also complained about the theft of a dog and a woman and a child inside his tree. The Massachusetts native appeared to be suffering from a mental illness or was intoxicated. Deputies found 34.57 grams of pre-packaged marijuana and a small container labeled Haze Life Batter Apple Banana Gelato. A test of the substance in the container, which was stored in the refrigerator, showed a presence of THC. A vape pen containing THC oil was found on the table next to the bed in the master bedroom. Henry's parents bought the home in Sunset Point in 2005. They were the original owners. In 2014, Henry had been arrested after crashing his golf cart into another golf cart. Oh, Henry. And another villager's son. A villager's son is being held without bond after violating the terms of his probation in 2023 drug overdose death. Jason Scott Harris, 48, was booked this week at the Marion County Jail following his arrest on a warrant charging him with violating his probation. A probation officer went to 557 Coker Court in the village of St. Catherine looking for Harris. His mother said her son has been living with her but had moved out to live with his wife and child, according to the Department of Corrections violation report. Harris is on probation through November 7, 2025 for using a two-way communication device to commit a felony. Never heard of that law. Harris had been living with his mother in August 2023 when Marion County Sheriff's deputy responded to a home in Summerfield where 46-year-old Leanne Stile had died of a drug overdose. Deputies checked her cell phone and discovered a series of text messages earlier that day between Stile and Harris. Stiles was apparently desperate for drugs, and Harris arranged for her to have drugs delivered to her. The text messages also indicated he was going to have sex with her, but after having difficulty navigating to her location, he was in a golf cart and she was located outside the village. She died before he got there. Although Mr. Harris was not a drug supplier to the descendant, Mr. Harris utilized Facebook Messenger to facilitate a narcotic deal between the descendant and an unknown drug dealer. A warrant was issued for his arrest. When Sumter County deputies served a warrant at the home in the village of St. Catherine in December 2023, he was in possession of a chewable gummy that tested positive to THC. And another update. A Chardonnay sipping villager has lost her driver's license as the result of a drunk driving arrest. Brenda Gale Perdue, 74, who lives in the Clayton Villas in the village of Ashland, has pleaded no contest to a charge of driving under the influence in Sumter County Court. She has lost her driver's license for 6 months, has been placed on probation for 1 year, and has been ordered to perform 50 hours of community service. That's her update. And this is actually an update, but it's kind of not an update. I want to explain a little bit about this. Up north, where people are much older, the further south you go, they get much younger, per se. District 2 or somebody up there went ahead and put stripes on their golf cart path. Ever since then, they're trying to push that agenda throughout all of the villages. This is going to cost each district hundreds of thousands of dollars per district. And maintenance. That stripe doesn't last forever. You got to have maintenance. Now, they're complaining about the maintenance fees rising every year and every year and every year, but the same people are the ones that's causing that by asking things like this. I'm in District 10, and I've been, on day one, I've said, I don't want this. I don't want their agenda pushed down here at all, period. We don't need it. The Multimodal Path Discussion Group will revisit the contentious issue of striping golf cart paths in the villages. The debate over centerline striping of the paths dates back at least a decade. See, it goes on forever. They keep bringing it up. Community Development District 4 famously went rogue and put down centerline striping on its section of multimodal paths, inspiring a visceral reaction from other CDD boards in Florida's friendliest hometown. CDD2 ultimately joined in and put down centerline striping. All other CDDs have refused to stripe their section of the multimodal path. Hopefully we got a district supervisor now that has a set of balls. Many officials and residents have argued that centerline striping promotes safety for the thousands of villagers driving golf carts each day on the multimodal paths. They also argue the striping is especially helpful in navigating at night and during rainstorms. And like I've said before, don't let them use that safety word to influence you. I talked about this. It's a game. It's all for safety. And everybody goes, amen. If it's all for safety, I'm for it. Well, no. Opponents of striping contend it is an unnecessary expense and would not enhance safety. I agree. Furthermore, they argue that CDDs 2 and 4 are in violation of the sacred idea of preserving continuity throughout the villages, and I think they are. But that's probably one of them deed restrictions the developer has to control, and he won't do it. The developer has decided to hand over $2 million to calm new residents irate over huge increases in their maintenance assessments. Villagers living south of State Road 44 were stunned when they began receiving letters earlier this month informing them of proposed double-digit maintenance assessments rate hikes. Residents like Lisa Lake in the village of Dabney learned her maintenance assessments would be increasing by 56%. She moved into her home 1 month ago. The developer will be turning over $2 million to the village's Community Development District to help pay for the extraordinary infrastructure needs in the Eastport and Middleton areas, according to the story announcing the decision in Monday's edition of the village's Daily Sun. The village's district manager, Kenny Blocker, told the newspaper that the developer will be turning over $2 million to the village's Community Development District to help pay for the extraordinary infrastructure needs in the Eastport and Middleton areas. The village's district manager, Kenny Blocker, told the newspaper that the $2 million from the developer will reduce the increase felt by Lake and her neighbors in Community Development District 14, which is the new Leesburg area of
Florida's friendliest hometown,
from 56% to 20%. In addition, Middleton residents received letters informing them their maintenance assessments will be going up by 31%. Thanks to the developer's contribution, they will also be seeing a 20% increase. After reviewing the amount of new infrastructure turned over compared to the number of new residents moving into the districts, a developer agreed to make an additional contribution, driving down the responsibility of the districts, Blocker told the newspaper. Meanwhile, residents of Community Development District 13, which includes Bradford, Cason Hammock, Chitty Chatty, Citrus Grove, Hawkins, St. Catharines, remains on tap for a 15% increase. Community Development District 12, which includes Fenny, DeLuna, Linden, will see a more modest increase of 8%. There you go. That'll help a little for a while. A serial shoplifter was arrested after fleeing a Walmart store in the Villages. Management at the Walmart at Buffalo Ridge Plaza contacted law enforcement this past Wednesday after a shoplifting incident. Walmart personnel told the Sumter County Sheriff's Office that the suspects left in a white lifted Ford pickup. A deputy spotted the truck and initiated a traffic stop at the El Dorado Internet Cafe in Oxford. One of the occupants of the pickup was identified as 46-year-old Stacy Lynn Steady of Summerfield. She was wanted on a Marion County warrant charging her with theft. A deputy also discovered that Steady had been banned in 2022 from the Walmart at Buffalo Ridge. Steady was found to be in possession of methamphetamine and a glass pipe. She was arrested on charges of possession of methamphetamine and possession of drug equipment. She was booked at the Sumter County Detention Center. She has a long history of arrests, including arrests for shoplifting. Steady was arrested earlier this year after attempting to steal merchandise at Best Buy. She was tasered by the police. Steady was arrested in 2023 after attempting to steal $331.70 worth of merchandise at the Home Depot in Lady Lake. She was also implicated in a previous theft at Home Depot. In 2022, she was arrested at Walmart at Buffalo Ridge Plaza in the Villages. She was arrested in 2021 at Wawa. And the list goes on, and it will continue to go on. We got to get tough on this drug situation and quit pussyfooting around with it. And we all know where it starts. The Lady Lake Police Department has observed a significant rise in speeding and aggressive driving as completion nears in the lengthy project to expand U.S. Highway 27 and 441. In response to the concerning rise in dangerous driving, police have ramped up traffic enforcement, conducting over 350 traffic stops in July. I've told everybody, be careful up there. Police said officers are committed to balancing citations and warnings effectively while addressing these traffic concerns. Let's have some more news. Wildwood will spend 23.8% more next year, largely due to the construction of a $146 million wastewater treatment plant. Commissioners reviewed the proposed $274.2 million budget for 2024-2025 Monday at a third workshop meeting. Final approval is expected in late September after 2 public hearings. The budget goes into effect on October 1. It calls for spending of $63.8 million on construction and engineering for the new plant. Much of the total cost will be covered by $90 million in loan proceeds. Boosted by home construction in the villages of Southern Oaks, apartment projects, and new businesses, Wildwood's explosive growth required the city to increase the wastewater treatment capacity. The population has doubled since 2020 to more than 30,000. The new plant and upgrading the current plant will raise the city's wastewater capacity to 5 million gallons daily. Lindsay McKellen, Assistant Chief Financial Officer, told commissioners modest changes were made since the last budget workshop. She said the state revenue estimate is higher and proposed expenditures also increased slightly. McKellen also showed commissioners new interactive software that allows them to explore the budget in depth. We've got a lot of work to do before September adoption, but I think we're in a good space, said City Manager Jason McHugh. Well, I hope so. Sure sounds like a lot of money being spent to me. Who belongs on a multimodal path in the villages? E-bikes? Smart cars? We're definitely seeing more of them. I can definitely tell you this. There are no cars, motorcycles, scooters allowed on the multimodal path. I think I've seen one smart car once. And then I thought I'd seen smart cars a couple of times after that, and then I realized I'm not seeing a smart car. It's a electric car. I'm not sure it's classified as a golf cart, but they're built like a golf cart, but they look like a smart car, and that might be what they're seeing. I don't know that. There seems to be a variety of vehicles using the multimodal paths, leaving many wonder who is allowed to use the multimodal paths in the villages. It is a question that the district office receives on a regular basis. The multimodal paths are for use by non-automotive traffic such as bicycles, golf carts, pedestrians, and skaters. I take exception to that because years ago I was told skateboards and roller skates and things like that were not allowed on the golf cart paths, because that's what they still are. They're golf cart paths regardless of what they want to nickname it. The district always reminds residents that it is not legal, nor is it smart, to drive vehicles such as smart cars, motorcycles, or mopeds on any of the multimodal paths in the villages. So what about e-bikes? We are seeing more and more of them on the multimodal paths, and they're moving very fast. The reality is that there is little that can be done to regulate the use of e-bikes on multimodal paths in
Florida's friendliest hometown.
At the opposite end of the spectrum, villagers have complained about smart cars and golf carts large enough to have license plates that travel on roadways and also use multimodal paths. The size and speed of those vehicles can be intimidating to both walkers and cyclists. Should some vehicles be off limits on the multimodal paths? Well, I can tell you a couple things that I know. Smart cars definitely are not allowed. Any car, actually the way it reads, any motorized vehicle that has a license plate on it is not allowed to be on a multimodal path. If you're in a golf cart lane and you've got a street legal golf cart, technically, and it has happened once or twice here, a cop can pull you over and give you a ticket for being in the wrong lane. That's a fact. Villager Richard Muth celebrated winning a gold medal in men's pickleball doubles and a silver medal in men's singles in the Tennessee Senior Olympics. He is now qualified to compete in the National Senior Olympics in Des Moines, Iowa in 2025. Well, congratulations, Richard. A Wildwood commissioner's daughter has been arrested in the theft of a wallet at a local 7-Eleven convenience store. Tia Marshawn Green, 24, is facing a felony charge of grand theft as the result of her arrest this past week on a warrant issued in Lake County. Green, the daughter of Wildwood Commissioner Julian Green, allegedly stole a wallet on New Year's Day at the 7-Eleven on U.S. Highway 27 and 441 in Fruitland Park. The owner of the wallet, which contained $700 in cash as well as Social Security cards, left it on the counter and departed from the store, apparently not realizing it was still on the counter, according to the affidavit of probable cause of Fruitland Park Police Department. Oh, I can relate to that. Green was seen on surveillance footage and appeared to notice the wallet which had been left behind by its owner. Green spoke to the clerk on duty, 42-year-old Thomas Frederick Smith III of Fruitland Park. Someone left their wallet. Green could be heard telling Smith on surveillance footage. She began to look through the wallet and spotted the $700. Smith asked for the cash. "I found it first," Green said. She pulled out a Social Security card and read his name out loud. "I don't know him," Green said. Green and Smith proceeded to count the cash. They could be seen on video creating two separate piles. Smith put the wallet in a bag which contained Green's other purchases. When she made her purchase, she used her 7-Eleven Rewards account number. Green left in a maroon Hyundai Santa Fe SUV. The owner of the wallet reported the theft on January 2. The manager of 7-Eleven worked with police and provided video surveillance footage for the investigation. A corporate investigator with 7-Eleven tracked down an 850 area code number associated with Green's rewards card, leading to her identity. She used the rewards account for 3 other purchases and used an EBT card in one of those purchases. The information led to a warrant being issued for Green's arrest. Julian Green has served for many years on the Wildwood Commission. He is being challenged for his seat by villager Phil Montalvo. The 7-Eleven clerk was also charged in the incident. He is due September 5 in Lake County courts. Maybe it's just me. I had a problem with 7-Eleven in California 35 plus years ago, and I've never been to a 7-Eleven since. And when I see this guy, this Thomas guy, I'm looking at this picture. Say what you want, but I look at this picture going, who would hire this and put him behind the counter to deal with the public looking like this? No. A Maryland man who served time in prison after he was snared in a child sex sting has registered a temporary address. Where? In the Villages. Andrew Stephen Oatley, 28, of Galena, Maryland, registered an address this past week at 1675 Abercrombie Way in the village of St. Charles. He had been arrested in 2019 as part of a coordinated Internet Crimes Against Children task force sting that netted 10 perpetrators. Oatley began communicating with a law enforcement officer posing as a teen boy. Oatley indicated he wanted the 15-year-old to have sex with him and sent him a picture of his buttocks, along with a picture of his face, according to the local media reports at the time. Yeah, I'm sure he was probably confused about the picture of his ass and getting it mixed up with his face. Leave your comments below. He was sentenced to time in prison and was placed on sex offender's probation for 3 years. He was ordered to register as a sex offender for 25 years. I got a question for you. Who rented their house out to this character? Somebody did. You should be ashamed of yourself by not vetting your people. This is a retirement community. We have grandchildren that come here, and we don't need this here. Here is another article in reaction. I think it's to the center line striping that they want to get to the villages on the cart trails, which, it's idiotic to me. They don't want to call them cart trails. They say they're not cart trails, they're multimodal trails. So I guess my question is, if it's a multimodal trails for roller skaters and skateboards and walkers, why do you need a center line? I think you're always being hypocritical. William Elwood, who lives in the Sumter Heritage Villas in the village of Bonnybrook, has been in
Florida's friendliest hometown
for almost a decade. I was a youngster when I first got here, Elwood said. Now I don't drive at night as much anymore. He said the reflective payment markers, nicknamed RPMs, have made a huge difference in helping him navigate a multimodal pass, particularly at night. He urged the committee to look hard at using RPMs and even striping to improve the safety on the multimodal pass. We're talking about safety, Elwood said. However, Jim Shields, also of the village of Bonnybrook, challenged the group members to define the problem they are trying to solve. He dismissed striping as a cosmetic measure that might create the illusion of safety. He said bright lights are a bigger problem on the paths at night, and striping would not help golf cart drivers blinded by the overly bright golf cart lights ahead of them. That is so true. People around here in these golf carts, I don't know what's the matter with them. It's like they lost their minds. They go down to the store, they buy all these extra lights, they have them put underneath of it, and they got them on the bottom, they got them on top. You think they were in the bush jungle somewhere with their lights. They blind you. Members of the group agreed that bright headlights on golf carts are making it tough to drive golf carts at night on multimodal paths. Hey, if it's a multimodal path, then I guess, why is your golf cart on it? Why ain't you on the golf cart path where you belong? CDD5 Supervisor Jerry Knoll said statistics from law enforcement show that alcohol is frequently a factor in golf cart crashes, particularly at night. CDD10 Supervisor Steve Bova, that's my man, said that costly increases being absorbed by CDDs due to the huge Seco Energy pole rental hikes are leaving little room to budget for luxury projects like striping. He said his district is facing a $300,000 increase from Seco, which will eat away the reserve funding. Boba said CDD-10 supervisors have no appetite for spending money on striping, and his board remains absolutely opposed to striping. He added that CDD-10 supervisors also have safety concerns about RPMs. Wiener vowed that the multimodal path discussion group will continue to press on and hinted that CDD boards may soon find residents attending their meetings lobbying for striping. No, they're not. They're lobbying for lower rates, and this raises rates. We need to look at what is really best for all residents, Wiener said. I got one for you. How about we leave it up to the residents for each district? Put it up for a vote. How about that? And here's my rant. I'm going to put in a rant this week because we don't have any holes in ones again. I'll try to keep trucker language out. A reader shared this photo to illustrate why the striped area next to handicapped parking spots can be so important to those who need it. Many vehicles are equipped with ramps that roll out for wheelchair access. Parking in the striped zone can prevent wheelchairs from using the ramps. This should go on bad parking, but I'm going to make a rant out of it. I don't know what moron decides that you can park on a striped area. We all took the same driver's test. I don't give a damn what state you come from. A striped area means no parking. On the interstate, it means no parking. At Walmart parking lot, it means no parking. Next to a handicap zone, it means no parking. For whatever they use that area for, that's what it means is no parking. So who the hell ever told you you could park in a striped area? When I see things like this young man here can't even get to his ramp now to get back in the van because some dumbass decided to park there and block that whole area. As far as I'm concerned, the police should be called on that car, and there should be a $500 ticket put on that car, demanding them to go to court to pay that ticket, get his ass chewed out by the judge, and if it ever happens again, impound the car for 30 days because they don't need it. This is ridiculous. I'm done. Sorry for any of the trucker language that may have slipped out. Okay, how about some letters to the editor? To the editor, save money by not watering areas that we get wet on while traveling on the cart paths during times they are used. Water between 11 p.m. and 6 a.m. This is a health hazard. The water is not fresh and comes from the ponds, which have animal waste. That's sent in by Lisa Locker from the village of Santiago. Well, I agree and disagree. I'll just put it that way. To the editor, this letter for sure is going to bring out the haters. Oh, I like them. People pay attention when you talk about something they can't stand. I have the unpopular opinion bicycles do not belong on the road traveling next to vehicles. Today there were two people in the golf cart path riding side by side. I will acknowledge one of the two folks knew what she was doing. The man on the outside lane right next to the traffic did not. Not only was he rather wobbly, he kept crossing the white line. There was no way to safely pass them with oncoming traffic. Another cyclist at the intersection of Morse and Warm Springs was making big loops in and out of the traffic while waiting at a light to change. Can you imagine the havoc if joggers did that? Aren't there any rules in play for cyclists in golf cart lanes or two-lane roads? I just want everyone to be safe. That's sent in by Margaret Brown from the village of Dabney, a new area. Well, Margaret, welcome to the villages. I've talked about this for years. I'll just say, good luck to get anybody to listen to you. But the answer to your question truly is, yeah, there's rules about this. Yes, there's laws about this, like in every state. The question you got to ask yourself is who enforces these rules? Because they're not getting enforced. To the editor, we all bought here because we were promised to have a square here in Spanish Springs. Taking that away from us would be a breach of contract. You need to honor your word to have restaurants, entertainment, and the shops and amenities like bowling and workout centers for the so many people living here at Spanish Springs area. You need to keep your word if you don't want the residents to file a claim. Oh, good luck on that. That's words of wisdom there. Let me give you a little bit of words of wisdom that I know by being in two different unions, and I was a representative for one of them. Major unions. You can't get two people to agree on nothing. So what you're talking about ain't never going to happen. That's sent in by Peggy Panico from the village of Springdale. Well, thank you, Peggy. Appreciate it. Well, I think that's going to be it for this week. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Has it been hot where you're at? Because everybody I talk to keeps telling me about how hot it is where they're at. I'm not surprised about it because we were told years ago that during the climate change, we all could expect warmer weather, more hurricanes because the hot water in the ocean and so on and so on. So more earthquakes, more tornadoes, all this is relative to the heat. And we got the wildfires too. But anyway, I hope everybody's okay. If you haven't done it yet, I would appreciate you to be a Patreon member of mine. You can join as little as $2 a month. And with that, you'll get some things that you don't even see on the YouTube channel as far as videos go, new things. And we also have some activities there that I will give you free just by being a Patreon member. You'll get a free access code from me. I'll send it to you once your membership has been confirmed to my private members only Discord. There's a couple hundred people on there, but they come and they go. They're there, then they're gone, then they're back, and then they're gone. But you've got other people you can converse with about who does your lawn. You get information. You can get Villages information from other people. Some of the people that's on that Discord are new people that's moved here, and they can answer your questions about some things. And then we got some people on there that's been there for a long time. So you got those people you can converse with about getting information about this or that, recommendations and stuff like that. So just consider it. The other thing you'll get once every so often, I won't say it's every month at all, but we have a members only lunch. You'll receive that information only if you're a member. Nobody else will get it. If you like to do anything like that, like put a face to a name and meet some people, I encourage you for $2 a month to join Patreon. If you want to be a YouTube member, that's fine. I got no problem with it. But the cheapest there is $5 a month. You go to Patreon, and the cheapest there is $2 a month to save $1 or $2. And it goes up from there. I think the highest level is $25, and I don't expect everybody to do that. So with that being said, be safe, be well, take care, be aware,
and don't leave your keys in the golf cart.